Is that Andy Blyer I see out there? What is going on? And Steve Hassenplug. Well, we are in good shape today then already, aren't we? Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Bonsoir, Monsieur Mike. Ann and Sparky here in Beeham. Yes, Barb, nice to see you as well. How is everybody doing today? Everything well? Everything going splendiferously? Is that a word? I know splendiferous is a word. But, Yari, nice to see you. Now the show can start. He was the only guy I was waiting for. He's the only guy that I care shows up. Kidding. But it's always nice to see Yari. Well, gang. There's Michelle and Bob out there in Winnipeg. Newt TV from YYC. Nice to see you. YYC, for those of you who are wondering, it is not a previously unreleased Rush song, a Rush instrumental, to follow up a YYZ, or YYZ as we call it here. Yes, YYC is Calgary. So, nice to see you there, Newt TV. Okay, I see Andy Blyer here as well, which is Moo. Yes, that is what I'm talking about, Moo. Not many people get that gag. Andy, nice to see you, man. Art, nice to see you as well. Okay, well, should we get this show off the boards or what? What do you think? Okay, well, let me see. Table for One was recorded in May of 2002. Really to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the recording of the Simplify album. So, yeah, almost 5 years to the day, actually, that we recorded that. But it was certainly 5 years for sure. We recorded it like the Simplify album. We recorded all the songs on the record in a day, and then we recorded, and then we mixed it. Actually, I think it took us a little over a day. We were in the studio for 2 days, is what it was. Recorded and mixed it in 2 days, and then that was it. I wasn't sure what I was doing with that record. It's an interesting thing because at that time we had just put out the Fools for the Radio record in September of 2001. So whatever that is, 8 or 9 months before that, we put out that album. And we worked a long time on the Fools record. I spent years writing it. We spent a long time recording it. Long time for us. I mean, we spent a couple months in the studio, living in the studio in Kingston, Ontario, recording at the Tragically Hip studio, just outside Kingston, in a town called Bath. Actually, studio is called the Bath House. But we spent months in there recording that album, and then the record was done in early January, and we spent months and months and months preparing for the release of the album, which was originally going to be on May 1st, 2001. And then we had this meeting of the minds, and we decided, you know what, May 1st, there's a lot of records coming out in early May 2001, so maybe it would behoove us to push back the release date just a bit. And we thought, okay, so how about like July 1st, Canada Day? No. How about July 4th? Independence Day? No. And on and on. And eventually we all settled on September 11th, 2001. And we all know what happened on that particular day. I am not for a second saying that 9/11 had any kind of negative impact on the release of that album, because there were other records that were released that day that did very well. Bob Dylan released Love and Theft that day, and Nickelback released Silver Side Up, so worked out okay for them. But anyway, the record came out September 11th. And but that was like an omen or something. It was like it was like a warning of things to come. Because really, over the space of the next week, the whole thing just kind of unraveled, and we were like Charlie Brown going to kick the football. And but that kind of stuff happens. None of it was the end of the world, but by any stretch of the imagination. But by the time May of 2002 rolled around, Jenny and I were engaged to get married in June, so a month later. And really, the guys and I were just at a point where, we'd worked so hard and gotten to a point where we thought this could be it. And when it didn't happen, it was a kick in the nuts for me, and a kick in the nuts for everybody. It was a kick in the nuts for me, for Ernie, for Dave, for Mech, for Brian, for Johnny Mac, for Andy Blyer, for Rick Cady, everybody, all involved. It was a kick in the teeth, and but that happens. That happens in the music business more often than not. 99 times out of 100, it happens, right? So anyway, that's okay. It's not how many times you get knocked down. It's as long as you get up one more time, right? So, but it took me a long time to get up off the mat for that. And I remember probably in April of 2002, the guys and I went for a bite to eat in Hillsborough Village there in Nashville. Jackson's. We were having burgers there. I remember talking with Ernie and Dave and Derek, or Ernie and Dave and Mech. Mech was playing bass in the band at that time. I remember saying, guys, I need a break, man. I don't know. This whole last year has really it's taken me a long time to process. I need more time to process this. And I need a break. I don't know how long it's going to be. Could be 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 60 years. I don't know. But I need a break. If you guys are okay, cool with that, playing a couple shows a month so we can all pay our bills, that's okay. I'm fine with that. But I just don't think I can go out and play 200 shows a year. Fact of the matter was, I was really bummed for all the work that we put into the Fools for the Radio record. And it just took me, it's neither here nor there. Excuses are for losers. And those who are good at excuses are good at little else. So I'm not making any excuses. But it just took me, longer than I had hoped to get up off the mat. I remember going for coffee with Andy and Rick. And they're like, man, you just got to get back on the road, man. Remember that, Andy? We were sitting at Bongo. And you're like, man, you just got to get back out on the road. Just get out there, man. You're right there. And I remember saying to them, I don't think I can do it, man. I don't think I can do it right now. Hindsight being 2020, I probably should have heeded their advice. I probably should have just kept the nose to the grindstone. At the most, I probably needed a 6-month break. But once I let go of that slim edge that I had on that cliff, it was just a free fall for a while. And it took me a while to figure out what the hell. Anyway, so in May of 2002, Diana Mayer, who's was my publisher over at MORAINE Music. They had a recording studio there, and I talked to them about maybe doing some recording there. I said, look, I just want to go in for one day to record, one day to mix, and we can do this. I know we can do it. Just like the Simplify album. And so in we went. We went in May and recorded these songs. And I knew in the back of my mind that it was going to be a little while before we would find our way into a studio again. In the back of my mind, I just had this feeling that, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next. I was just completely untethered. So, but we recorded this record, and we had so much fun doing it. And that was it. It was done. Boom, done. And then I wasn't sure if I was ever going to release it, but I knew I had these songs, and I knew I wanted to record it, and I figured it would be a fun last weekend for me and the guys in Nashville, because they literally left for Ontario the next week, and they moved. They went to Ottawa and got a place up there, and Jenny and I stayed in Nashville for another year, I guess. But anyway, I am completely rambling. I'm gonna play some songs for you. This song is the first song on the record, and we were listening to a lot of the band at the time, and we were crazy about the band, and I was at that point, I was especially crazy about the song "Unfaithful Servant," and I was trying to write a song like that, and I could only get a verse out of it, and it felt like it reminded me of another song from an earlier album, "Greetings," from the Simplify album, where I thought, this could be a nice little lead up, a little intro to an album. And that's what we did with it. I couldn't write any more verses. I tried, and everything fell flat. So, did Lucy eat someone's pet at Bongo, or did I make that up? No, you did not make that up. But I don't believe you were there that day. I was there with John Randall when Lucy ate that bird. There's my buddy Floyd Finley. Yes, Andrew, you were absolutely correct. But that was right around that same time, though. That was within a week or so of us having the coffee, and then when Lucy ate the bird. If you feel like it, you can go to my website, and there's a story there called Lucy and the Yellow Bird of Bongo, and you can read that story. There's Todd Reynolds. He knows the story, too. Yeah, so you can check that out, Andy, should you feel so inclined. And it'll also be on my book. I am releasing a book later on this year. I'm not sure. I was hoping for a spring release. Still might. There's other things that are sort of percolating in Plume land that may force this book to be pushed back to the fall. But regardless. Anyway, onward and upward. Onward, Christian soldiers. Onward and sideways. Anyway, this is about this is a long intro to a very short song. But I remember when the whole thing kind of came unraveled, I was talking to my buddy Joel Stewart. Joel's the guy who did all my music videos, still does. And I remember Joel saying, he goes, are you starting to feel like one of those restaurants that every 6 months has a sign in the front yard saying under new management? And it was funny, but like all good humor, there's always a thread of truth. Well, there was more than a thread of truth there, but yeah, he was right. So I took that idea, restaurant under new management, and that ended up being the opening line to this song, and it goes like this. Do you ever feel like an old restaurant that's under new management? Memories and ghosts that haunt it, where the good times went. On the outskirts of an old familiar town, the same old faces and the same old games, and all the jerks who ever put you down, always remember your name. Yeah, they'll always remember your name. And there is Jerks. That's the name of the song. I was talking, Todd Reynolds is on here. We were talking earlier today. I have a knack for naming songs, naming songs that have almost no earthly idea as to why I named them that. There's a lot of songs where I'm thinking, in hindsight, I probably should have given that song a better name. Maybe a title where I at least repeat that word a couple times within the song. But anyway, that's Jerks from the 2003 album, Born by the Radio, Table for One. And next song is a song that I wrote in October of 1997. And you're not even going to believe this, but the inspiration behind this song, I was listening to, and I still do, I still listen to my share of Def Leppard. There's no two ways around it. That Pyromania record is still an album that finds its way to my stereo, every couple months. But I kind of marvel at the way some of the song structures. And the Bryan Adams album, Waking Up the Neighbors, is also very similar. The common denominator, the common thread is Mutt Lange. And so you'll be listening, if you can think back to the first time you heard any one of these songs, any one of these Def Leppard songs or Bryan Adams songs or anything that he's really had that he's produced. You hear the song starts, and then you hear this verse, and it's a great verse. And then it goes into this chorus, and the chorus is just amazing. And then something follows that chorus, and it makes you go, wait a minute, that wasn't the chorus at all. That was a pre-chorus. This is the chorus. And then that you get through that, and you're like, this is the greatest chorus, and that was the greatest pre-chorus I've ever heard. But then it just lifts into something else. And then you start thinking, wait a minute, so this must be the chorus. What was before that was the pre-chorus, and what was before that was the pre-chorus. And then, anyway, it's just so well structured, the writing of that stuff. Whether you like it or not doesn't even matter. They're just really well crafted songs. So this next song, I wanted to write a song that hopefully had a great opening verse, and then when it went into what could be the chorus, I wanted that to be as strong that if I left it at that, you would go, yeah, that was a good chorus. And then lift to another chorus, and then another, and then another. Well, I only managed to get a good pre-chorus and then the next chorus, but it did lift that way. So, though this doesn't sound like anything Mutt Lange would ever probably associate himself with, but that's okay. He was the inspiration behind this song. And then I would say another inspiration behind this song would have been the 5 Days in July album, Blue Rodeo. Trying to write a song with that kind of feel and flow, and maybe even some Neil Young in there as well. Mutt and Shania made beautiful music together. Yes, they did, Todd. Yes, they did. Man, I feel like a woman. That's all I can say right now. Leafs win the game, Murray? I think they did. Anyway, so with all that being said, here is Born So Long Ago. What is this love? I don't know what you're thinking of, 'cause I was born so long ago. What love is this? The staggered swagger of emotional bliss, 'cause I was born so long ago, and I was easily misled by something that you said. Was it me you were talking to? And I was easily amused and appropriately confused. Was it me you were talking through? Still I wonder when the rain will stop falling and the temperature in my spirits too. Yeah, I wonder when the time will start crawling instead of drifting by like we used to do. Yeah, rock and roll never save nobody's soul, never save no one's soul. But I still get that rush. My problem is I think too much, 'cause I was born so long ago, and I was easily misled by something that you said. Was it me you were talking to? And I was easily amused and appropriately confused. Was it me you were talking through? Still I wonder when the rain will stop falling and the temperature and my spirits too. Well, I wonder when the time will start crawling, yeah, instead of drifting by like we used to do. Yeah, drifting by like we used to do. Well, drifting by like we used to do. Yeah, we used to, baby. I was born so long ago. Born so long ago. Yeah, man. Crazy. I wrote that song in 1997, so I would have been 28 years old, 29 years old. What the hell was I feeling so born so long ago back then for? What was my problem? I was 29 years old, man. I hadn't even celebrated the first anniversary of my 29th birthday. But anyway, that was born so long ago, and I've always liked that song. We recorded two versions of that song. This is kind of like the Harvest version, and then we recorded the Crazy Horse version, which is on the Steel Belted Radio EP. So if you want to hear that version, swing on by, Spotify or wherever you stream your music, and it is there. Matthew goddamn Ketchum, nice to see you, buddy. What's going on with you? Tom Cowan, also nice to see you, man. All right. Cheers, gang. Here's to your coffee. Next song was written with a buddy of mine, Billy Montana. And Billy, let's just put it this way. His least successful songs are the ones he wrote with me. Everything else he writes turns to gold. And Billy is a hell of a songwriter and just a sweet guy, and everything about him is cool. Just a great hang. Billy's one of those guys, it's like, if you ever wanted to know kind of what, like a co-write, or for me anyway, what my favorite co-writes are, is just when a guy comes over and to the house, or we meet at some writing room, or at one of the publishers' houses, and you just sit there and you pour a cup of coffee and you start talking, and you talk and you talk, And at some point, somebody will say something. And you'll go, that's a song. That right there, that is an idea for a song. Let's see if we can write that. And then you attempt to bark that song up a tree. Tons of fun. Just tons of fun in it. And it doesn't work all the time. They're kind of like blind dates. You're kind of like, yeah, no, I'm not. This didn't work. We shan't be writing again. But I had about a half dozen writers that I really enjoyed writing with. Billy being one of them. Sean Locke being another one. Trevor Rosen being another one. Jason McCoy. Jason and I always write some cool stuff. Clayton Bellamy. Clay and I always manage to stumble onto something worthy. Yeah, guys like that. Tons of fun. It's just really just an excuse to hang around and drink coffee, and then at some point somebody says something. No different than you hanging out with a buddy, and then somebody will say something and everybody laughs, and you go, except for we would follow that with, let's see if we can write that. Like I guarantee you, somebody one day was sitting around and they were talking about how they were out the night before, and one of them said, "Oh man, I was drinking triple, seeing double, and acting single." And somebody said, "Yeah, okay, we're writing that song right now," and they did. But anyway, so this next song is a song that Billy and I wrote, and it's called Ohio. And I remember the conversation with Billy about this because I find the word Ohio to be quite musical, and that was really all it was. And I wanted to write a song about a guy who leaves his hometown to go see the world. There's a great big world out there. You know, everybody should live somewhere where they're the ones with the accent. Just for 6 months of your life, go somewhere where you're the guy with the accent. It changes your opinion on everything. So this is a song about a guy who leaves this dead-end town that he's in. He was, born. Some were born with their highway shoes, while others pay their union dues. Me, I never had much and nothing to lose, so I left that future behind. So this is a song about a guy who goes out there to see the world. He wanted to see the sun rise and sunset in every province and every season, in every state and every season, on both sides of the Atlantic. And he gets out there, only to realize that everything he was looking for was at home, and was waiting there for him when he finally got home. And this is Ohio. I turned my back to Ohio, well, I left it fast, but then I came back slow. There was a great big world I needed to know, so I turned my back on Ohio. Landscapes and interstates, and maybe good things come to those who wait. Well, me, I couldn't afford to hesitate. Like a gypsy killing time, some were born with their highway shoes, while others pay their union dues. And me, I never had much or nothing to lose, so I left that future behind. Turned my back on Ohio, and I left it fast, but then I came back slow. There was a great big world I needed to know before I came back to Ohio. Now photographs, they're all I have of friends and lovers and family. Yeah, now all the years they disappeared, and I'm right back where I'm supposed to be. So much has changed since I've been gone. She got married and she carried on. Me, I wrote down the words to this song to help me through the night. My mother's living in her house all alone, and the graveyard's got a few new stones. Well, time is a thief, and man, your life is on loan. So if you're wondering why I came back to Ohio, but I left it fast, but then I came back slow. There was a great big world I needed to know. For I came back to Ohio, I came back to Ohio, and I left it fast, but then I came back slow. There was a great big world I needed to know. For I came back to Ohio. Ohio. Jacqueline DeRoche, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I often joke about this song. Quite often in my introduction to this song, I will say that the song was originally was about me leaving Bonnyville. But I couldn't come up with a rhyme for the word Bonnyville other than "and her sister will," which she did. But I wisely chose to change it to Ohio. But yeah, anyway, Ohio it is. And that is what that's. This is one of my favorite records of mine, and maybe because it sort of like, stayed beneath the radar the whole time. But to go back to that conversation that Andy and I had, I didn't tour it. I think I probably did 15 shows on this tour. I just couldn't, and I did enough shows to sort of pay my rent, and that was it. And I remember, like I said, the record was recorded and mixed in May, 2 days. And then in February of 2003, so 8 or 9 months later. Thanks, Glenn. I appreciate that, man. And then in February of 2003, so about 8 or 9 months after we recorded the album, it dawned on me. I thought, you know what, I don't know if I'm ever going to do another record. I think I'm done with everything. As you can tell, there's a recurring theme. I tend to go through this, 4 or 5 times a day. And so I was thinking, I don't know. I don't know if I'm never going to do another record. I don't know if I'll ever do another record. I don't know if I'll ever play in another band that good, where we all just sort of instinctively knew what the hell was going on with each other. And so I was thrilled to have recorded it. And I had it on a burnt CD of it, and I listened to that for months and months and thought, I got to put this out. And even though it was recorded with me and the guys, they by that point had started touring heavily as the Populars, and they put out an EP, and then they recorded 2 full-length albums, and they toured like crazy people, like we did, and they had a ton of fun doing it. And I watched them from afar, and probably grieved because I figured that was the end of the road for the band. And it was, while I was happy for them, I was sad for us. But I thought this record needs to see the light of day. So I went back in the studio and remixed the entire album with Philip Scoggins, who was the engineer at MORAINE Music at the time. And this was the studio where Heartworn Highways was done. So that was a pretty interesting thing for those of you who are familiar with that. But anyway, so we recorded, we went in, we mixed it in February over a couple days, and then released the album in April. And my friend Chris Peters, who was my roommate in Edmonton for a long time, she painted the cover. It looks an awful lot like the Boulevard of Broken Dreams painting, or I can't think. So many. Oh, why can't I think of his name now? I should have done my research before we went live. Anyway, always like that song. Always sort of leaves me feeling a certain way. A melancholy thread, if you will. Next song is called The Best Job I Ever Had, and I wrote this with Guy Clark. You've heard me tell this story countless times on various Sunday morning shows and stuff like that, and even at gigs. But I think I even released a video for Stories from a Lonesome Stretch of Highway where I tell this story, the Guy Clark story. And yeah, it was great. I'll never forget that phone call. My publisher at the time, Bart Butler, said, man, if you could write with anybody in Nashville, who would it be? And I said, Guy Clark, man. Guy Clark, thinking, yeah, it's not going to happen. I said, Guy Clark, John Prine, those are my heroes, but it's not going to happen. Well, dogs playing poker. Yeah, you had that painting, didn't you? I remember that painting, Andrew. Yeah. Anyway, but I remember I said to Bart, yeah, I'd like to write with Guy Clark. And man, 2 or 3 days later, I was writing a song with Sean Locke, and at MORAINE Music. And somebody came in, knocked on the door, and says, Mike, you got a phone call. You got to call your publisher. You got to call BLUEWATER. So I called BLUEWATER Music, and I asked for Bart, and Bart gets on the phone. He says, write down this number. So I write down the number, and he goes, he says, you need to call this number right now. And I said, who is it? And he goes, it's Guy Clark. He's expecting your call. So I called him, and as soon as he answered the phone, it was like, yeah, there's Guy. There's that voice. There's that, I wish I was in Austin. In the chilly parlor bar, drinking Mad Dog margaritas and not caring where you are. That was the voice on the other end of the line. I couldn't believe it. And so we set up a writing appointment and got together to write. And you know the whole story. But, or maybe you don't. A lot of you do. Most of you do. But it was really cool. Walked in his house, and the first thing I saw was the Willie Nelson. I saw 2 paintings as soon as I walked in the door. One being the Willie Nelson Stardust album cover, and the other one being Emmylou Harris album, Quarter Moon in a 10-Cent Town. And I don't remember which one I saw first, because by that point my mind was blown. So I walked in, and I saw these 2 paintings, and then instantly I realized that that's right, paintings by Susanna Clark. That's right, I knew that. Yeah, so Guy's wife, Susanna Clark. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry, babe. Love's a gift that's surely handmade. Susanna is a monster songwriter, was a monster songwriter. They've both passed away in the last 8-10 years. But was a monster songwriter and a monster painter. And they were Renaissance people. It was great. It was just great hanging out with them. And we went down to his songwriting workshop, and he's got his guitars there, and he's got all his paper, and he's got his table, and he's got a bottle of tequila, and an ashtray, and a bag of weed, and he's got everything. He's ready to write. I think it's always there. And he also builds guitars while he's at it. And so he's showing me his guitars and stuff that he's working on. And he's like, yeah, guitars will be the death of me. But it's the best job I've ever had. And I remember thinking, there it is. Got to write that. So we sit down. He's like, well, do you have any ideas for songs? And you been working on anything? I said, no, not really, but I do have an idea. Guitars will be the death of me. Best job I ever had. And we wrote it. That's what we wrote. We wrote that song. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe I was writing with Guy Clark. And at the end of the day, and you've heard me tell this story as well, but after writing all day long, we swapped songs. So I played him one of my songs, and then I asked him to play Desperados Waiting on a Train. And he played that. Nose to Nose, he played that song for me. And then I played him another song, and then I said, hey, can you play She Ain't Going Nowhere, She's Just Leaving? And he plays me that song. And then I play him another song, and I said, hey, can you play me the Randall Knife? He's like, man, I can do you one better. And he reaches down in the bottom drawer, and he pulls out the Randall Knife. And there it was. If you don't know the story about the Randall Knife, Google it. It's a hell of a story and a hell of a song. But here's my Guy Clark song, The Best Job I Ever Had. Yeah, man. Well, I'd like to thank my parents for the shape I'm in. Pardon my condition, my excuse is pretty thin. You see, all I wanted was a car when I turned 16. But my folks bought me a guitar and it'll be the death of me. Well, I could have been a doctor or even an astronaut. Hell, I could have been almost anything if it weren't for this dreadnought. But when I got down to it and I learned the chords C, F, and G, I hit the road with my guitar and it'll be the death of me. And it's the best job I've ever had. You spend half your time tuning them and the other half playing out of tune. Man, it's the best job I've ever had. It's the best job I've ever had. Now guitars make life bearable. There ain't another job in the world comparable. And it's the best job I've ever had. Well, it's gotten me into some tight spots, and it's gotten me out of a few. And if it wasn't for the music, boys, well, I don't know what I'd do. But if you're gonna tell the truth, then you need to have the tools. So get yourselves a guitar and it'll be the death of you. And it's the best job I've ever had. And one night in Kansas City it got broken in a fight, and I glued it back together and it ain't never been right. But it's still the best job I've ever had. It's the best job I've ever had. Do you want to know why people play guitar all day long and act a fool all for a song? 'Cause it's the best job they ever had, man. It's the best job I've ever had. And I know why Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil way down on Highway 61. 'Cause it's the best job he ever had. Now when I die and I get to heaven, I'm gonna tell you what. Well, I've seen and done a lot of things, but there's still the things that I had not. What I did, and I did it the most true, was play this fucking guitar, man. And I played it all for you. Yeah, man. The best job I ever had with Guy. I wrote that with Guy Clark, man. That was a high water mark for me, without a doubt. What does Andy have to say here? I think I heard Guy play this at one of... You did not. Really? My God, that's complete news to me. I had not. I did not know that. I did not know that. Is the line about the guitar in Kansas City a true story? That's Guy's line, so I don't know. I never asked him whether or not that happened or not. But we had a lot of good. So once we started working on this song, we knew it was about guitars, and that's when he started talking shop. Started talking about his tools, and he just said, "Man, a guitar is just a tool, man." He goes, "Take care of it, but it's just a tool to help you tell your truth, man. That's all it is." yeah, he would take these deep drags all the way down to the heels of his boots. And, but yeah, it's just a tool, man. He goes, the carpenter doesn't care. He takes care of his tools. He takes care of his hammer and chisels and, everything. But what he's concerned about is what he's building. The shelf that he's building, the desk that he's building, the house that he's building, the cabinet he's building, whatever it is he's building, that is his concern. He takes care of his tools. He doesn't treat them poorly. He just knows what's important. So, and he says that too in his song "Stuff That Works." Stuff that works, stuff you don't hang up on a wall. Stuff that's real, stuff you can feel, the kind of stuff you reach for when you fall. That's what he's talking about, and that's what this song is about. We may have not hit on it quite as exact as he and Rodney Crowell did with Stuff That Works, but that's okay. We wrote this song, and I'm very, very proud of it, and I love this song. And I've probably played it more in the last 10 years at my shows than I did in the 10 years leading up to it. I don't know why. Maybe I've just grown into it more. But yeah, we talked, and he said, whatever you do, man, don't ever treat a guitar like it's magic. Because when you do, the magic leaves it. It's just a tool, man. He said, I'm forever giving Susanna a hard time because she never cleans her brushes. And she says, I can buy more brushes, man. I can buy more brushes. Fuck the brushes. What's important is what's going on the canvas, man. I can buy more brushes. And have I traveled with those two phrases. Don't ever treat a guitar like it's magic. And I can buy more brushes. Yeah, man, that's just about as good as it gets. Homegrown Tomatoes, yeah, man. The only two things money can't buy: true love and homegrown tomatoes. This song was written in Greenville, North Carolina, in the middle of a hurricane in the September of 1999. We were doing a college gig somewhere. Andy probably remembers which gig it would have been. I don't remember. But we did a college gig that afternoon, so it was a Friday afternoon. And Friday evening, we were back in the hotel, and the guys were all in the other room playing Sony PlayStation hockey, and I was watching TV in the other room and just picking on my guitar, picking on an old guitar, when I stumbled onto this. I was instantly taken with that little melody. It was very lonesome, very melancholy, and I knew if I wasn't careful, I could screw the song up terribly if I turned it into some mushy love song. Like, I love you so, please don't go. Whatever. That would have been a catastrophic error. So I decided that I would try to write as dark of a lyric as I possibly could to offset the prettiness of the melody. And this is what I stumbled onto. Telephone is familiar, and you wish you were with her. One thing for sure, you can't be there. But tonight, you celebrate tonight, because it's easier that way. I said it's easier that But tonight, you celebrate tonight, because it's easier that way. I said it's easier that way. Tonight, you celebrate tonight, because it's easier that way. I said it's easier that way. While you're all alone and long for home, and the telephone is familiar, and you wish you were with her. One thing for sure, you can't be there. So tonight, you celebrate tonight, because it's easier that way. I said it's easier that way. It's easier that way. Easier that way. Table for One, the title track. The song was originally called Easier That Way. And that's a song Todd and I were talking about earlier today. It was too obvious of a title, so I switched it to Table for One. And so probably there were millions of people all around the world requesting the song Easier That Way, and the DJ said, nope, don't have it. Next, here's the new Nickelback song instead. Yeah, somehow I doubt it, but that's okay. So yes, that is Table for One. And there are more chords in that song than any 10 of my songs. So I'm very proud of that little tidbit as well. Next song is, what is it? There's a Road. And this was the first song. Jenny and I met in September of 2000. And we said, okay, we're going to get together and try to write a song here at some point. And then I hit the road for about 6 weeks. And so we got together again in October. Maybe I was on the road for about a month, I guess it was. And we got back in mid-October, and we got together to write a song. So we met up. I think our publisher, Brownlee, over at BLUEWATER, was having a barbecue. So we all met up, all the writers, Jim Lauderdale, Kim Ritchie, Big Al Anderson, Jenny, and me. We were all sort of hanging around. I kind of felt like I'd made it. But so we were all hanging around, and that's where Jenny and I, we had met, like I said, we met about a month before at a BLUEWATER event as well. And then we crossed paths at that barbecue, and then decided, okay, so let's get together and write a song tomorrow. So we did. And we met at Bongo Java, the place where our dog Lucy ate that guy's yellow budgie. So Bongo Java is like kind of like the center of the universe, apparently. Anyway, so we got together to write a song, and we wrote a song that ended up on Jenny's AstroTurf record, a song called End of the Stillness. Great song. And just in case you're wondering, Jenny's album AstroTurf will be streaming and available on iTunes. I would think in the next month or so, we're going to make that happen. We've been just delinquent on that, and it's ridiculous. So we're going to make that. We're going to make a change there. And then her Red Letter Day album will also see the light of day some point in the fall. But anyway, we wrote a song called The End of the Stillness, and it's a corker. It's a really, really good song. I got home that night, and I was living... we didn't even have a place at that point. We had a place for about a year, and then we gave it up because we're on the road so much. The one way to guarantee that we never show up in a town again is to rent a place there. So as soon as we rented a place in Nashville, we were gone. And we were like 4 months, and we've been paying rent on this place for 4 months and weren't even there for a day. So anyway, we eventually gave up the place. We had it for 6 or 8 months, and then so whenever we were in Nashville, we stayed at our manager's place, Brian's place. And so Jenny and I wrote that song that afternoon. I went back to Brian's place that night, and I wrote this song. And it was you're absolutely right. The BLUEWATER showcase at 3rd and Lindsley. So I went back to Brian's place that night, and I had my room upstairs, and I went in and took out my guitar, and I wrote this song. And Jenny played. Is this the first song I wrote for Jenny? Yeah, probably. Well, yeah, it would have to be, I guess. But she certainly was the inspiration behind this. We were, both a whole lot younger then, give or take, and it was everybody's just everybody, regardless of how old you are. I'm still trying to find the road that I'm supposed to be on, and yeah, so that's what that was about. So here is There's a Road, lyrically one of my favorites. Yeah, far and away. It's a world of lonely people. We're all waiting to explode. And out there is a road for all involved. And it's a grand command performance. So stand up and take a bow. 'Cause we have all been wandering. Have you been till now? There's a road, yeah, custom made for you. There's a road that you've long been traveling to. There's a road. Yeah, some people take religion, they take the Jesus roll call. Yeah, well, others say don't believe in nothing but yourself at all. Yeah, now me, I can't speak for you. Hell, I can barely speak for me. But with a little bit of faith and a little bit of luck, works just fine for me. 'Cause there's a road, yeah, custom made for you. There's a road that you've long been traveling to. There's a road. It's a grand performance when you're out there on your own, standing out there all alone. There's a road, there's a road It's been a calling out your name. There's a road. Yeah, you'll never be the same. There's a road, and it's a custom made for you. There's a road that you've long been traveling to. There's a road. We're all following you. There's a road. I'm with Jill on AstroTurf. Yes, you did design the album cover, Andrew Blyer. You did indeed. Yes, AstroTurf will be coming out. I guarantee you. It is a great album. And produced by Daniel Tashin. And Daniel has been having a bit of success with Casey Musgraves as of late. So, yeah, absolutely. When can we see more of Jenny singing with you? Well, that will hopefully sooner than later. We should. One of these Sunday mornings, we should just do Perfume and Gasoline and have Jenny and Ruby both in to sing the song. Yeah. I have to give them a heads up, though. They don't like it when I call them in on the fly. Hey, come on up in here. They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing to us, jerk? Okay, next song. Let's see. Another song here. This one is called Every Day is Another Day Part 2. On the Simplify album, I had a song called Every Day is Another Day. And it's one of those songs that is just to sort of help me deal with the day-to-day, which is like, it's a struggle every day, isn't it? I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, Ken, and he goes, this last year, man, it's just the fact that I even get out of bed and make it to work is a victory. And yeah, I get that, man. It's been tough on over on everybody, hasn't it? So this is one of those songs that I wrote just about how every day can be a grind, and you got to try to find that little ray of sunshine, just a crack of light, a sliver of hope coming through, So that's what this next song is about. And yeah, it goes like this. Every day is a new kind of reason. Every day you do your best to please them. Every day is another day we walk on by. Every day is another day you gotta try. Well, every day is another shade of blue. Every day is another day to get through. And every day is another day that slips on by. Well, every day is another day you gotta try. Yeah, now she really wish she wasn't getting any older. Yeah, now she says she longs for that chip upon her shoulder. Every day is another day, man, time does fly. Well, every day is another day you gotta try. Wonder why? day is another new disaster. Yeah, now every day seems to burn a little faster. Every day is another day to say to goodbye. Every day is another day you gotta try. Well, every day is a beautiful thing. Yeah, now every day is another blessing. Every day is another day to be alive. Yeah, every day is another day. Every day is another day. Every day is another day. You gotta try. You gotta try. You gotta try. Yeah. Yeah, man. Every day is another day. You gotta try. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? It'll all work out in the end. If it hasn't, it's because it's not the end yet. So hang on. That's all I have to say about that. Andy Blyer. Yeah, man. All right. Okay, next song. This was the first song that Dave and I ever wrote. We wrote this back in October 1994. Attempted to record it for the Song and Dance Band record. And for whatever reason, it just, we were on to other songs at that point. But this was a fun song. This is a song about, it's just a Bo Diddley beat. And that's all it is, the whole song. And I was bound and determined to make it one chord. And for the most part, I did make it a one chord song. We go up to I don't know what that would be, the flat third or something. I don't know. I'm not good with that kind of stuff. We go from A major to a C. So whatever the hell that is, you tell me. I don't really care. I know what it is. And I was listening to the CCR song. I was listening to lots of CCR back then. And they had a song called Bootleg. And I just stole the title. And wrote a song called Bootleg. And I wanted to make it sound like there's no earthly way that these lyrics could have been written any time in the last 100 years. I wanted it to sound as old as the hills. Speaking of hills, I grew up on Pile Hill. It's just south of Havelock there on the way to Petticodiac. And when I was a kid, there was a lot of stories about bootleggers living around out in the hills. And so I kind of went back and visited that feel of the bootlegger. And this is it. This is a story about a bootlegger. And it's a story about, well, Mama said to Papa before you go, there's one thing you got to know. If you're going to leave, well, that's just fine. But leave me a little shot of your loving moonshine that you bootleg. And then, so he leaves her, and she has a kid, and then she preaches the stay away from that moonshine. It's nothing but trouble. And so as the song goes on, Mama to her baby is what she said. Sweet temptation is the devil's bed. Don't you get caught in that old grapevine. You got to stay away from the loving moonshine that you bootleg. And he's running bootleg. And sort of goes on with that. He meets a girl. They run, and they start bootlegging as well. And then he gets, he ends up going to jail. The whole thing, and it's it's the return of Shepman's Hill in this song. So yeah, here it is, bootleg. got to know. If you gonna leave, well, that's just fine. You leave me, little shawty, your love of moonshine. That's your bootleg, bootleg, bootleg all night long. Bootleg, bootleg, bootleg all night long. I walk along. Well, mama said to baby, here's what she said. Sweet temptation is a devil's bed. But don't you get caught in that old grapevine. You gotta stay away from a love of moonshine. That's your bootleg, bootleg, bootleg all night long. Yeah, you bootleg, bootleg, bootleg all night long. Walk along. Now mama said, son, you find someone nice, but I don't take that woman's advice. I found me a woman, now she's all mine, with a sweet little lover and a love of moonshine. Now we bootleg, bootleg, bootleg all night long. Bootleg, bootleg, bootleg all night long. I walk along, yeah. You gotta walk along, yeah. You gotta walk along. Walk along. Bootleg, bootleg, bootleg all night long. Bootleg, bootleg, bootleg all night long. Walk along. Well, I done me some time at the pen on the hill. Old Shep Money haunts it still. You take me back cool to a better time, with a sweet little lover and my lover moonshine. I die with bootleg, bootleg, bootleg all night long. Bootleg, bootleg, bootleg all night long. Walk along. Walk along. You gotta walk along. Walk along. You got a bootleg, bootleg, bootleg all night long. Bootleg, bootleg, bootleg all night long. Walk along. Walk along. You gotta walk along. You gotta walk along. Bootleg, yes. Yeah, it's a fun song live, man. We should work that one up again. I don't know if Ernie's tuned in, but man, EB boy, we gotta maybe dial that one in again as well. Lots of songs. We start playing on a regular basis, we'll fire all this stuff up. Okay, that was Bootleg. Next song. I was heavily intoxicated the entire week in Watson Lake. Seem to recall that was in the set list. Yes, that would have been in the set list because we needed a one-chord repeater. You're absolutely right. Yes, them was some heady times. Next song is a song called Nothing But a Broken Heart. Yes, another one of my faves. Wrote this one with Sean Locke. Sean and I wrote Junior is a song that he and I wrote that I'm quite proud of. And he and I wrote a couple songs that are on next week's show, which next week was episode 7 of the Revisited series, Rock and Roll Recordings, Volume 1. And boy, you want to talk about a record that almost nobody knows about. This would be it. So that's next week, Rock and Roll Recordings, Volume 1. For this record, Table for One and Rock and Roll Recordings, Volume 1, I was just, I still had some songs that I just wanted to get out there, but I couldn't bring myself to tour it. And then, of course, when Ruby showed up on the scene, there was no way I was leaving home. I didn't want to miss a second of that. And so, yeah. Well, that was a wise decision. I'm glad. I don't regret that for a second. But anyway, so that was Bootleg. This next song, Nothing But a Broken Heart. Wrote this with Sean. We wrote this at our place, mine, Jenny's place there on Blair Boulevard. in Nashville, just a block away from Brown's Diner. And it's just a really just neat little images that when you break it down and you put it all together, it ain't nothing but a broken heart. So you find yourself walking alone past the junkies on the telephone, in a pawn shop window. Your reflection tells you what you already know, and it ain't nothing but a broken heart. Ain't nothing but a broken heart. It ain't nothing but a broken heart. Ain't nothing but a broken heart. Now, cheap guitars never stay in tune, but it don't matter in an empty room. Sleep with the sun and sing with the moon. Tinfoil on the windows in the afternoon. 'Cause it ain't nothing but a broken heart. Ain't nothing but a broken heart. It ain't nothing but a broken heart. Ain't nothing but a broken heart. Do your best, do your best. Where you'll go and what you'll do next. Where you'll be is anyone's guess. Do your best to do your best. 'Cause it ain't nothing but a broken heart. Ain't nothing but a broken heart. It ain't nothing but a broken heart. Ain't nothing but a broken heart. It ain't nothing but a broken heart. Ain't nothing but a broken heart. Everybody's got a hungry heart. Everybody's got a hungry heart. That's right. Yeah, man. Nothing but a broken heart. There's some neat lyrics in there. Probably, I don't even know if I'd want to pick my favorite, but I love that verse. There's so you find yourself walking alone past the junkies on the telephone, and in a pawn shop window, your reflection tells you something you already know, that it ain't nothing but a broken heart. I love that. The next verse is cheap guitars never stay in tune, but it don't matter in an empty room. Sleep with the sun and sing with the moon. Tin foil on the windows in the afternoon. I remember watching a documentary on Howard Hughes, and I think he was a bit of a night owl, and it was that he kept tinfoil on his windows his in the hotel that he stayed at there, the hotel he owned in Vegas, and he kept those windows tinfoiled right tight. So yeah, he kept to keep the daylight out. The sunshine bores the daylights out of me, as Mick Jagger sang in Rocks Off, first song on Exile on Main Street. So that was the tinfoil on the windows. That was part Howard Hughes, and then I saw a documentary, or I think I read it actually, in the Peter Guralnick biographies on Elvis, and how he did the same thing. He had tinfoil on his windows whenever he played in Vegas. He probably had tinfoil on his windows in Memphis too, at Graceland. But and so there's just a striking image to me. Somebody like just so on top of the world, but yet, he tinfoiled the world away. And so I thought that was interesting. And then we were up in the Northwest Territories, up in Dawson City, playing at the Dawson City Music Festival. And of course that's in the middle of summer, and the sun never sets there. And one thing I remember a lot about our time up there. I've been up there a couple times. But one thing that I do remember vividly is everybody has their windows tinfoiled in the summertime, because it's broad daylight at 3 o'clock in the morning there. So yeah, that's what I remember. So those are the three instances where tinfoil influenced or inspired Nothing But a Broken Heart. Yeah, and again, it's just a song about just keep moving on, man. Just keep one foot in front of the other, and just you'll get through it. I look back on these songs and I think, yeah, man, I was writing, and the bulk of these songs, a lot of these songs were written in the 6 or 8 months after Fools for the Radio came out. And so a lot of these songs were written to sort of help me get through what we were going through back then. And this next song is called Silhouette. Yes, here's a song. I mixed that up. It was Silhouette is supposed to follow Bootleg, and then Nothing But a Broken Heart, but now I guess I mixed that up. So here's Silhouette. Another comfy, cozy little song with a really beautiful melody, and I knew that I wanted to make it as dark as possible because of that. I didn't want to ruin it with a pretty lyric. So I need a... Come with me, oh darling one, you must see the purple sun. Come with me, oh say you will, meet me up on Shipman's Hill, where I could see your silhouette framed in the purple sunset. And in the heat the June bugs trill, it's getting dark on Shipman's Hill. Tell us so, my darling one, and be alone when you come, for then I know you'll love me still. Man, it's getting dark on Shipman's Hill, where I could see your silhouette framed in the purple sunset. And in the heat the June bugs trill, way up on Shipman's Hill. wait for you, my darling one, as silent as a smoking gun. I said I would, you said you will. You'll find me here on Shipman's Hill, where I could see your silhouette framed in the purple sunset. And the sirens wail high and shrill, so far away from Shipman's Hill, so far away from Shipman's Hill, so far away from Shipman's Hill. Yeah, then I know you'll love me still. That's if you run to Shipman's Hill. Andrew Blyer, Chasing Shadows, Moonlight Mystery. Yeah, man. Good line. Good line, man. All right. Okay. Time for a couple more songs here, gang. How we doing? We have Trying to Find My Way Back Home. So, this song, I was just trying to write a nice little cruising song. It was probably influenced by something like yes, it does. It's in a scene, and I think I had a different lyric then too. Fuss and Commotion CMT special in the hotel room. I think it was called maybe Sugar Hill or something like that. Yeah, that was like early. I remember that because we started writing that song the week before in Kill Devil Hills, out there in the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina. I think it's North Carolina. But that's where we started the song. And then 3 days later, we were in Ottawa at the Ottawa Folk Festival. So, yeah, that song was fresh. Still trying to figure out what hill it was that they were running to. And then I thought, it's got to be Shepman's Hill. I already have 3 songs about that damn hill. Might as well make it a 4th one, right? So, anyway. Let's see. How's my tuning? Everybody doing okay here? Took me a little while to hit my stride here. It took me about 15 minutes before I played the first song. And then I think we're about 45 minutes into the show and I played 4 songs. Sugar Hill is also the name of a record company. I don't know, we might have been talking to Sugar Hill about a record deal or something, I don't know, but Sugar Hill is the name of a record company. I think Robert Earl Keen had a bunch of stuff on there. I think maybe Alison Krauss might have had something on there, I don't know. But yeah, Sugar Hill is like an Americana roots rock label. Trying to find my way back home. Trying to find my way back home. Trying to find my way back home. I'm trying to find my way back home. Staring down that lonesome road. I'm staring down that lonesome road. Staring down that lonesome road. I'm trying to find my way back home. Will she remember me? Will she remember me? Will she remember me? Yeah, I'm trying to find my way back home. Well, they say that you're the finest in the land. I'll walk 1,000 miles Will she remember me? Will she remember me? Will she remember me, babe? As I try to find my way back home. And I'm trying to find my way back home. Trying to find my way back home. Trying to find my way back home. I'm 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 trying to find my way back home. Trying to find my way back home. Trying to find my way back home. Yeah, man. Now that's a song where I probably titled the song properly. How many times do I say trying to find my way back home in that song? More than enough. Okay, love bootleg tune. Thanks, Floyd. Appreciate that, man. Well, we shall see. Okay, what do we have next here? This next song is called When the Sun Goes Down. And it was written in Calgary while we were filming the video for DiMaggio, for the Fools for the Radio album. If you've seen that video, the guys and I were sort of sitting in like a little semicircle, playing DiMaggio, and there was some other scenes there with a guy and a girl, obviously having broken up, I guess. But our parts were filmed in this little warehouse in Calgary, and we were just like in between takes. Of filming the DiMaggio video. So if you ever watch that video, you can know full well that in between takes I was writing that song, because we were just sort of sitting there playing, and in between takes I was just picking and grinning, as they say, and that song was waiting there, and I was singing picking on when the sun goes down on a lonesome town, there comes a lonesome sound when the sun goes down. And the song really just kind of just wrote itself. Sugar Hill was also a gang. Well, there you go. Andrew Blyer knows all this stuff. He knows everything about everything, and if he doesn't know it, you don't need to know it either. But here is When the Sun Goes Down. When the sun goes down on the lonesome town, there comes a lonesome sound when the sun goes down. Picking on an old guitar, never gonna be a star, but still I've come this far, picking on an old guitar. I can sing a song for you, it's all I know how to do. This much I know is true, I can sing a song for you. She's such a pretty girl, flowers and her ribbons twirl. She's dancing around my world. She's such a pretty girl. I want to see you. I want to see you. I want to see the moon shining on your skin. And it's hard for me to tell. Throw a penny in a wishing well. I've got a song to sell, but it's hard for me to tell. To see you, I want to see you. I want to see the moon shining on your skin. 'Cause when the sun goes down on a lonesome town, there comes a lonesome sound. When the sun goes down, yep. Man. Well, we have come to that point in the evening where we are at the last song of the album. Song called It's Over. I mean, and really, where else could you have a song on a record called It's Over other than at the end of the album? It's just, why? Because it's over. I wrote this song with Kieran Kane and Kevin Welch. We got together to write a couple months after we wrote Eggshells. And we wrote this at Kieran's place, and walked into his house, and he was playing this thing that had he said, I got this thing, I'm sort of working on this when you guys knew you guys were getting together today, and it just sort of goes like, it was like, so get yourself a cup of coffee. That's kind of how the song started. And like I was talking earlier, we were the guys and I were on a serious band kick at that time, so everything had to sound like it pulled into Nazareth, or I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And so we got rid of the excessive strumming, and that's not quite the way Kieran was playing it. Way cooler than that. I don't really remember how he was playing it, but it was something like that. The song really wrote itself quite quickly. We wrote it in, maybe half an hour. Just Kieran, Kevin, and I, and we just had a nice visit and sat around and talked and laughed and wrote this song, and that was the end of it. Then I played it for the guys probably a week later, a month later, a couple weeks later. And like all of our songs back then, we worked it up at sound check. And I said, let's just do this with that leave-on kind of cut time groove kind of shuffle thing. And the rest is history. So we were off and running with that one. And this was a song that we played a lot, and we probably need to work the song in again because it's a fun one. Especially now with Ryan and Jeff in the band, and on gigs where we got Davey Boy playing as well, man. I mean, again, kind of like Oblivion, those guys could solo for a year on that song. We could play that. We could play It's Over. We could start with It's Over and finish the show. We could just go. But anyway, here it is. Hope you dig it. It's been a long time since I played this one. Get yourself a cup of coffee. You know where the cream and sugar is. Or maybe you would rather a whiskey. You know where I keep it hid, where I always did. Listen, I don't want to talk about it, 'cause we've been through it all before. The whole damn town been talking about it, babe, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. Oh no, 'cause it's over, it's over, it's over. Yeah, ain't it, babe? Well, the nights don't have to be lonesome if we can keep it hid like we always did. Now, how could you say that you wouldn't regret it? But how could you say that you would? If there was a way, then we would forget it, babe. Yeah, we probably would. That's if we only could. 'Cause it's over, it's over, it's over. Yeah, ain't it, babe? Well, the nights they won't have to be lonesome if we can keep it hid like we always did. So get yourself another cup of coffee, 'cause it's too late anyhow. You know, it's funny, baby, how things changing, and the way we're talking right now. Anyhow, 'cause it's over, it's over, it's over. Yeah, ain't it, babe? Well, the nights they won't have to be lonesome if we can keep it that way. Hey, girl, what do you say? I said, well, it's over, it's over, it's over. Oh, yeah, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And the nights they won't have to be lonesome if we can keep it that way. Hey girl, what do you say? Yeah, gang. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thanks for tuning in yet again on this chilly Wednesday night here in Edmonton. Thank you very much for spending your evening, or part of your evening, with me. And I'll see See you tomorrow morning over on Instagram at 7 a.m. for a cup of coffee. Get yourself a cup of coffee. In case you're wondering where that title came from, I think you know now. So yeah, get yourself a cup of coffee tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on Instagram. Easy like Sunday morning will be at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time over there on YouTube. And I'll be back here next Wednesday with Rock and Roll Recordings, Volume 1, the Revisited series, at 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves, guys. Thank you so much. And see you around.